Okay, so for this extras video, I thought we'd delve into Eisenberg's backstory a bit. Essentially, I think originally he was going to have his backstory was going to have a more prominent place in the story of the game. There's like a whole thing about how, which we'll see in a minute, about how the original expedition he was on when he was human, spoilers, um, was like eradicated by aliens, essentially wiped out by aliens. I think originally it was going to be like a narrated part of the story, but then that got cut. But the story itself got left over in a series of notes that we're going to look at now.
So this is how Eisenberg's first expedition ended. I'm surprised he came back.
No, the rest didn't. Sole survivor.
So I heard.
You hear about the rescue? Rumor is it didn't go well. Bugs got to the APC. I guess most of the rescue team got seriously burned.
The doc seems fine enough.
Seems so, yeah.
So this is supposed to be essentially like an outpost that was built. The original expedition was like very small, like a very small research project. Well, I say very small. They still built a bunch of bases, but you know, small in comparison to like the pods and the colony itself that we explore in AvP2. I'll just leave you to read through these yourself if you want to. So I think they had like 3 outposts. I think the one we see later in the is it both the Predator and the Marine game? That's just the Predator game, I think, isn't it? Where we call a dropship, we accidentally call a dropship, and it blows up the gate, and we have to fight a bunch of aliens. I think that's probably the main colony, or the main research outpost, and this is like a main research facility, and this is like an outpost. It's interesting that you read these as the Predator, not the Marine, as well. But then I guess where would it fit into the Marine story? You go down and reread the other bits, actually. Oh, that's down here, isn't it? Yeah, so I think it was essentially that main research base, the one where the Predator visits later in his campaign. That's the main facility. That was where they were primarily based, and they had like buildings like this that were like outposts. Oh, I think that's all of them, isn't it? So that initial expedition, they came to the planet, they dug in, all seemed fine initially. Then I think the seasons changed or something like that. It does say in that note, I can't remember what it said. And that caused the aliens to come out and become aggressive. And it wasn't until a storm hit and caused a malfunction in their security system that the aliens tried to attack, or did attack, and overran them from one of these outposts, I guess it was. Which makes you wonder, like, how did all these notes from different outposts get in one outpost? Unless this is like the last outpost they visited and he dropped them all in there. But yes, essentially that's what happened to the first expedition. They landed, they dug in, but then they didn't protect themselves well enough against the aliens. They were overrun at Eisenberg after struggling to survive for months. Eisenberg was the sole survivor, and he wasn't exactly saying when he was rescued, and he had been cannibalizing people to survive. It's interesting as well. I think that bit of the story, I don't know if it's all those logs or just some of them, but I think it was originally intended to be like spoken lines in the game. I don't know if maybe Eisenberg was going to have like an intro section, a bit like Roycloth has at the start of the Predator campaign. You know, like a backstory cutscene, maybe at the start of the Alien campaign, that just basically explained what happened to the expedition, and it was cut for time, maybe.